with Tranquilities. I'm your host, Marina, and today we are discussing energy. So when I took this survey on Instagram, I asked people what they specifically missed most about life pre-quarantine in terms of going to live classes, or group classes, or live events, live entertainment, live performance, anything to do with being in person with all the humans. Unanimously, everybody agreed that had something to do with either energy or vibes, however you want to frame it. But most interestingly, when I pressed for specifics, I heard nothing but crickets and radio silence. So, my dear friends, today I'm here to help lift the veil on the longing by 1, defining energy, and 2, trying to help you understand the differences between energies. Please share your thoughts in the YouTube comment section whenever you feel inspired to add spice to this little melting pot of love. Before we dive in, please be sure to click the subscribe button, followed by the little bell for notifications for every time I post new content. Or if you're on any of the other podcast streaming websites, please be sure to click that follow button to ensure you get the content you need when you need it. All right, so back to the main story here. I knew I wasn't hearing radio silence and crickets about energy because no one wasn't listening. I knew it was probably just because there wasn't as obvious of an answer. I also think that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and everything can be incredibly jarring. So asking an incredibly philosophical question may not be everybody's cup of tea. So instead, I think I have a solution for you. All we have to do is put on our little thinking caps. So here is the episode game plan. I'm going to try to define what energy in live entertainment is specifically, why we like it so much, why we miss it so much, and last, and maybe most importantly, I'm going to give you some solutions to be able to fill the hole in your heart during these quarantined and uncertain times. So what is energy? If we think of energy as an extension of ourselves as well as others, hence us believing that we can only experience it when we're physically around others, then wouldn't it be useful to talk about it in the same way that we talk about ourselves? For example, there are countless different personality tests or strength finder tests or which Twilight character are you tests on BuzzFeed, you name it, right? So just as this thought experiment with our little thinking caps on, imagine the energy of people and events is separate from the people and events themselves, right? If visualizations help, on one hand, we've got the people. On the other, we're talking about ghosts or the imprints that the people have left behind. Okay, so for the rest of the experiment here, I'm going to be using myself as an example to really drive this home. And I'm also going to be using the Myers-Briggs 16 personality types for my metaphor. This isn't because I believe it's the best or most accurate. I just think it's the most widely known and understood, and most of us know which Myers-Briggs personality type we are. And by the way, if you don't know, that's okay. I have the link in the bottom of the YouTube description section. So whether we realize it or not, different performers or different instructors are going to invite different energy styles into the room. Therefore, that means there's going to be different energetic outcomes. So when I'm performing, I like to think that I provide the energetic frequency of love, beauty, and pleasure. I specifically do my best to have an individual moment with as many sets of eyes as possible throughout my whole routine. I provide the service of connection and warmth and the belief in true love. This means that energetically speaking, I'm going to attract the type of people who are looking for things to fuel their belief in love, those who are energized by soft and kind, yet quirky and powerful feminine energy. I'm definitely not everybody's cup of tea, though I could be, in the words of Egypt Black Nile. I've had women tell me that some of my burlesque routines were anti-feminist because I fit the traditionally feminine image that doesn't look queer enough, whatever the fuck that means, because I didn't realize bisexuals looked any particular way. I've also had others feel so strongly about their opposition to my specific energy that they've sent me very long-winded messages about why some of my more political acts were just made for attention, or, that I'm standing in the way of someone who may, have a better suited voice, which again always confused me because I was like, whose voice is supposed to tell the story of my life again? I digress. The point here is that clearly, if energy was just one thing, then we'd all either have it or we wouldn't, right? But that's not the case, because otherwise, literally everyone would love me or hate me. Not both in the same exact crowd. So enter the Myers-Briggs example, right? So that means that my personality, my stage presence, my stage energy that I leave behind when I leave the room falls under one of these 16, right? And we're just going to go with, when I took the test, half an hour ago, it told me I am a mediator. So we're going to go with that. We're going to call that energy mediator energy. And mediator energy is what my clients, what my fans, what my friends seem to gravitate towards and require, right? So what does that mean? According to this personality test, my energy gives off this vibe of being poetic, kind, altruistic, always eager to help a good cause. So if that's what people are looking for, then they can come to me for that. Maybe someone else in the cast falls under the debater of the Myers-Briggs personality, for example. So in that case, those traits would be smart and curious thinkers who cannot resist an intellectual challenge. So maybe their act is a little bit more insightful, and that's the type of energy that people were looking for. They didn't need the heart and the warmth and the kindness. They were looking for an exciting mental adventure of some intellectual kind, right? So they're going to be more gravitated towards that type of performer or energy. So I implore you to take any kind of personality or strength finding test and try asking yourself some of the following questions. Who am I? What do I want? What do I need? What am I attracted to in life? Why am I attracted to it? What am I less attracted to, but yet seem to find myself hanging around anyways? These questions are geared to help us become more self-aware and orient our life's trajectory to get a little bit more of what we need when we need it. This brings us to answer question number 2 of the day. Why is it that we like energy? Okay, I get that I just asked some incredibly hard-hitting, self-reflective questions that may have grazed some trigger points, and for that I'm honored to be a part of your journey. Let's continue moving forward by looking at the positives. So, our bodies are supercomputers. There are literal electrical impulses extending through your body 24/7. Our neural networks are vast. Another way you can look at it is from the perspective of a yogi. So, although most people have heard of 7 chakras, there are actually 114 in the body. The human body is a complex energy form. In addition to the 114 chakras, it also has 72,000 nadis, or energy channels, along which vital energy, or prana, moves. You can also frame it as though we've got this biofield of electromagnetic energy pulsating through us, just like Mother Earth. So that's just an example, right? Like, I'm not saying that that is the framework that is the ultimate truth. I just think it's a beautiful metaphor and a great example that you can easily translate into whatever belief system you hold near and dear to your life. So regardless of the perspective that you want to look at this with, you can see that our bodies extend past our skin because of the energetic pulses that we sense. The most obvious physical example of this is the butterfly feeling in our stomach when we walk into the room and we see someone who makes us feel giddy. But what we need to understand is that energy goes beyond the obviously physical as well. It isn't just the food that makes us go, or the chemical surges of adrenaline, or when our dicks get hard seeing a hot human, right? If that electricity is also what makes our thoughts happen in the brain, why is it such a stretch for us to shift perspective and see that we can transmit energy across thousands of miles? Yes, I fucking said it. This phenomenon that you miss, the thing that you think that only exists in bars or raves or at your Pilates studio, is with you always. I know, as an American living in a capitalistic society, it was hard for me to make this mental jump because of the material world that we live in. But then the scientist in me kind of realized, well, you can't see gravity, but that doesn't mean you can't feel its effects or that it isn't real. So why is it that we miss this energy? We miss this energy very simply because we are hardwired for it. Humans learn, adapt, and grow in groups. We are all connected because we're all so specialized. What I mean is, individually, very few of us can survive on our own because we don't have like literal survival skills. We learned early in human history that by synchronizing our energies and becoming more specialized within those, we can be better as a whole, as a collective. And this allows for more time for play and rest. It's such a shame that we just aren't more consciously aware of this, and how aware of how incredibly powerful this force field within us is. Oh, wait a second. There are solutions. We can 100% become more aware of our energy, others' energy, and what energies we need and what energies we do not want any more of. Think of your body as a very highly calibrated scale. In the case of the Myers-Briggs paradigm, perhaps we have 16 scales, right? Each having individually unique settings. Every day that you wake up and you go through your life, you're looking to keep your scales balanced, full, and clear. We do things that we love. We go to events, we hang out in groups, and we fulfill these energetic requirements. This is possible. It just requires a lot of deep digging, meditation, and focus. But basically, what it comes down to is understanding yourself through this entirely different lens of energy. When you get the hang of it, this is what people refer to as a sixth sense. It's not magical. It's not just meant for mediums. It isn't just that woo-woo hippie bullshit either. It's a function of our bodies and our minds that just requires care, hygiene, and fuel, just like all of our other senses and abilities. We weren't good at walking at first either, so just be kind and be patient with yourself and be hella graceful throughout your whole process. So you can begin by writing about what you miss. Get super specific here. So when you think that you're being detailed enough, that means you want to go one level deeper. Basically, you want to go deeper, so deep that you either A, hit a wall and need to try again tomorrow, or B, you have an epiphany. And this epiphany ends up being about what it is that you truly need more or less of in your life. Next, you'll need to implement these changes. And here's the thing. I've already got an entire Tranquilities episode devoted to how to change your mind with scientific research and practical advice. So I'm not going to overlap that much here. I'm going to put the link to that in the comment section below. And I will say this. All change takes time. And change isn't a series of a couple massive steps. It's actually the opposite. It is a bunch of tiny little changes that you may not notice at first, but over time, it all adds up so exponentially. And when you look in that rearview mirror, you may not even recognize the old you. So keep your adjustments small. Don't be afraid to try new things. And if it doesn't work out, that's super cool too. You know, at least you got more information, you got some more answers, you've learned more about that inner compass, that inner energetic system and how it works. Just like walking, we have to fall like at least 1,000 times before we get it right. And even then, we still fall. I know that I might be 25 years into this life, but I still fall all the time. So please tell me about your experiences with energy. What energies are you missing the most right now? Head down to the YouTube comment section and tell us about it. Please don't be shy. On a final note, if you haven't already signed up for my newsletter, the Martian Gazette, I highly recommend it because it is a free, sporadic source of love, beauty, and pleasure. For more information, check out the description if you're over on YouTube, or head over to marinamars.com if you are tuning in from another streaming site. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Until next time, my loves. XOXO.